The 4 a.m. Routine actually changed a lot of things in my life. Your first hour is very important. As soon as you wake up, you need to do.
Most people are wondering, how does she afford it? What is the realistic breakdown of being a travel content creator?
Very honestly, my life is like an example of manifestation is all I can say.
For a lot of people, on their vision board, they put some of the spots that you go to. How is it that you practice manifestation?
There is this side of me which is very like overconfident. Like this is what is going to happen with your life and you are going to be this person. I sometimes write things down. I document things. Like I say things like,
how do you plan your travel, your itinerary, crazy travel stories?
we're looking for this cave and we lost our way. We reached some dead end. It was a house and then this whole travel principle changed was when I went to Banaras, Manikarnika Ghat. They're burning bodies there. I had not seen anything like that ever in my life. I spoke to a man there who said, once you accept death is when you kind of become like invincible, you know. When you're traveling, travel outwards but also inwards. It will really change the way you look at travel, you know.
What is the real truth in terms of pros and cons of solo travel for those who may want to experience it?
It will change everybody's life. You'll either hate it or you'll love it.
Have you ever landed in a location and everything has gone completely wrong?
It was Vietnam for me.
Why? Beyond budget airlines and hostels, what's an underrated travel hack that actually saves money?
Becoming a travel creator so you get sponsored trips.
What's a understated location that you think will be the next big travel destination? Ever felt like hitting pause on life just to breathe, reset, and realign? Hi, I'm Karishma Mehta, and welcome to HSBC Presents Realign, the podcast where we simplify the concepts of science, spirituality, and well-being to help you navigate the complexities of modern life. Our guest today is a creator, traveler, and storyteller. She's inspired millions to embrace adventure and authenticity. I'm so excited to welcome India's most loved travel content creator, Larissa, to our podcast. Beyond the dreamy travel reels lies a powerful journey of self-growth, transformation, and realignment. And Larissa shares it all. This is HSBC Presents Realign Season 3. Are you ready to live it up? Welcome to Realign, Larissa. I have learned how to pronounce your name now.
That's right, it's Larissa.
It's Larissa.
It's not Larissa.
Yeah, which is obviously annoying to you because you have only heard the second variation.
It's fine. I've kind of been like used to it by now. But I would love it if the people I'm speaking with are, you know, very well versed with how it's pronounced. So it's Larissa, like you open your mouth to say it.
Okay.
Put in some effort.
Okay. Larissa.
Larissa. Right, thank you.
Okay, I'm very excited to chat with you, especially because, I was telling you offline that your 4 a.m. video was one of the first few I saw when, just discovering this space and figuring out, how does it go? And let me see a few. And I loved how you shot it and how real it was. And Realign is all about mind, body, soul. And you do so many things for the soul. And that doesn't only include these kind of routines, but even your work, whether it's your travel, whether it's your jewelry brand. So I'm excited to chat with you about everything.
Okay.
So let's begin with your 4 a.m. routine and how consistent have you been with it? I think you released this video a few years ago.
This was in 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So it's been like almost 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah. So how is it going? And let's chat about your spiritual or connecting factors from 2021 to 2025.
I think the 4 a.m. Routine actually changed a lot of things in my life. It just came out of nowhere. I think the 5 a.m. club is like, people speak about it much more than the 4 a.m. club. 4 a.m. is difficult.
It's tough.
So
5 is also tough.
Yeah, of course. But 4 a.m. is tougher.
Yeah, 100%. It's one less hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like people know about the 5 a.m. club. I'm like, I've heard about the 5 a.m. club. How do we make it much more difficult? I like challenges. I am that person. So I said, okay, how do we do something that's more challenging? I took up the 4 a.m. challenge and said, okay, how do we go about with this. And it actually puts so many things in perspective in terms of, I mean, you wake up before the world, you know,
Yeah.
that itself feels like an achievement. Nobody's there disturbing you till like 8 or 9 a.m. And you actually get so many things done. You know it.
Yeah.
You do the 5 a.m.
Yeah.
routine.
I try as much as possible to
Yeah,
wake up as early as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like even now, I think during COVID times, it was the best time to practice it because nobody was heading out. It got easier. But now there are so many social things you need to do. You need to head out, meet people. There are events and all of that. So it gets tough. But I feel um, knowing that it's been your core at one point is very important. And the 4 a.m. routine put me and it aligned my life, realigned a lot of things for that matter. And it gave me an understanding of who I can be more than who I am. And it gave me a very broader perspective on like, you can go beyond this. If, you know, you've been a person who wakes up at 8 a.m. and then it's a small victory, you know, you're waking up at 4 a.m. suddenly before the world, you're reading a book, meditating, working out. I used to go to like a 5 a.m. I'm at the gym. This is in Goa.
Wow.
You know, you're driving in the dark. You start your workout in the dark. It's amazing. Like, I feel everybody should try it. You know, for a certain period of time, for a week,
Yeah.
for a day, you can see the difference. Even today, like I really like I crave to get back to that routine, but it's like I think I've not craved hard enough. But I'm glad we met today and we're doing this and you've put that back, because there have been like in the past 2 weeks I've been actually thinking like, you know what, I need the moment you want to change your life, you do this.
Really?
You want an immediate transformation, you start with the 4 a.m. routine and you can see it in that month. You'll see it happen.
So for the unversed, right? Let's talk about what entails your 4 a.m. routine that you did and what people can take inspiration from to design their own.
I think as soon as you wake up, you need to do something that is very important to you at that moment. So for me, at that period, what was very important was understanding my jewelry brand. So I was reading a lot about crystals, about jewelry, about gemstones and all of that. I did a proper study about all of this. So 1 hour was dedicated to that. Then after some time, I spent the first hour when I wake up into in meditation. So I would do like proper breath work and meditation. I don't do all of that anymore, just being very honest.
Yeah.
And it made me realize there are different things that will actually impact differently to your life, like in the best way possible, obviously. So I did like the first hour of reading, like reading a book, and it doesn't have to be a self-help book. It can be any book. You just need to be very present in the moment, is what I think. And that your first hour is very important. So that has to be like very something you want to prioritize for that phase of life. So I did that. Then consuming, I think mentally you're reading something, consuming something that's nice. So not your coffee that, you know, wakes you up in that manner, but something that actually calms you down and charges you for the day in a different manner. So maybe like a hot cup of water, very basic, you know, something like that. Very simple morning routine I had. I mean, then I would go and work out because I like to get my workout in the first 2-3 hours as I wake up, and it would just charge me. And then I would go for a morning walk in Goa. So I would head out just before sunrise, and this was just before the rains when I'd started this routine. So Goa would turn into some different crazy landscape. You know, the skies used to be pink, red, mix of pink and red, and I have those pictures, you know.
Yeah, we'll insert them.
Yes,
as
and
videos.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, coconut trees, and I'm looking at this landscape, and there's nature all around me. There's dogs running with me, and you know, every area I had these dogs, different dogs every area, and they would walk with me. There were some dogs that would walk with me throughout my walk in the morning. So, you know, waking up mentally, you're doing your reading, and physically you're walking, you're connecting with nature. Then I would do some grounding. You know what grounding is? Like you just remove your chappals and you walk like
grass or
on wet
mud.
grass. There's dew on the grass, and I'm walking on it. And like then I go for a workout to come back and like have your breakfast. You've got so much out of the way already, and then I'm like ready for the day, And by sunset, like you're already sleepy because you have to sleep. And then I used to try finishing my meals also before the sunset. It was a great routine. That was the best time of life, I can say. Yeah.
But when you say that anybody who's looking to kind of achieve something or get something done, you should do this routine.
Right.
It's so interesting that you say that because you've had many of these, these pivots, so to speak. Like
many.
Yeah, like you were a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And then you became, somebody who's so associated and deeply rooted with travel. Like if somebody asked me about who do you associate with on a travel front, you're one of the first few names that I think of.
Thank
right?
you
Just
so much.
because you have like beautifully shot content, like all your drone images, and I'm like, oh my god, how does she do that? Beyond my scope. It's out of syllabus for me. But
which one's your favorite?
You've done this thing for I think it was an old school one that you had done for Cartier. I remember, and it was a very whimsical. I don't know. I felt like it was not from this era. And I was like, she's created it beautifully. I really liked and enjoyed that reel.
Right. The fact that you remember it is what exactly I try to do, creating an impact with the visuals.
Yeah.
So I feel that is something that catches the eye of the audience, and that is one of I feel is my superpower.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your journey, right? Like from graphic designing to being associated with travel. And by the way, you lead a dream job according to 99% of people. Like, how does she travel like this? We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But how did you manage to make that pivot and say, okay, I'm going to stop this profession, which is like I'm assuming like your core skill, and like pivot into something like travel, which is so like open-ended and, just out there.
It started when I was a kid. I mean, I was always interested in going somewhere, look forward to summer vacation. And it's not like my parents took me to any fancy place. We went to Mangalore. It's our native place, and we have a little ancestral home there. It's by the river. It's in a village. You really need to travel a lot to get there. And there's like animals and all sorts of, no, you can't hear anything around like in the night. It's pitch dark, snakes everywhere. It's like that. I think I would look forward to going there every vacation, every summer vacation. It was a different life than my city life. And I think even if my parents couldn't gift me anything fancy, but I think they gave me a gift of curiosity. And I feel curiosity is something that every person needs to have. Absolutely. To look at things differently, to experience life differently. And that curiosity is actually what got the travel bug alive. And I did not force it at any point. I didn't ever say that I want to be a travel creator, because back then, this is 13 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
What is a travel creator?
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thing back then. So I remember doing these things, having the handycam on me, and giving a live commentary at the same time. I thought it was funny. But now it's vlogging. It's called vlogging. And it's just, that was your question, right? How did I start travel?
Yeah, like how did you decide that, okay, this can be a career?
It never, I mean, I started with DIY videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then it became lifestyle, then became beauty. It was just that I started documenting whatever I did. I never looked at it as I have to create this for the internet. I thought I am doing this, might as well record it.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at my life going ahead. And I went to my native place, I shot it, I liked it, documented. I get that from my mother.
Yeah.
I get the travel bug from my dad, but the documenting bit is from my mother, because she is very forgetful. So she would take pictures of every place and then write it down behind it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, now we can do it on video, so let's do that.
Yeah.
So today if you ask me what did you do in Canada, I'll be like, let me watch my vlog.
Oh yeah.
I'm also very forgetful. So
Yeah.
for me, documenting really helps.
Yeah.
And I just documented it because I would forget, and then I could make a YouTube video out of it. And I think that's how it started. And it was just so smooth. It was nothing in my career has been planned. I've never planned anything. So any content you see around travel, around the places, it's always just going with the flow and just doing it with an intention of being curious and experiencing that place the way it is and not like changing it at all.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
When you document these things, right, there's
Yeah.
a huge amount of your personal life that also comes out in the open. And for me personally, that has been a challenge. Like
Okay.
I just get like, I'm just a little bit you know how it comes naturally to you to vlog and to document. It just doesn't come, it comes naturally to a few people, it just doesn't come
Yeah,
naturally.
right.
But when you're so connected as
Yeah.
a person, which is like, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to meditate, and you're trying to accomplish something, has that been a deterrent, when say your personal life has been spoken about? Like,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been very open about, your relationships, for example. Has it ever been like, oh my God, now I need to not only justify this in my relationship, I also need to kind of tell people that, okay, this has ended, or that's starting up, or, how does that entire process work with you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't regret anything. I love how I've been open about certain things,
Yeah.
some things are definitely private, and some things teach you a lesson on how not to make this public.
Correct.
So it's all about that. You have to be, I feel I've always just trusted my gut, and I've been like, okay, maybe this can be spoken about, maybe this cannot. And sometimes if I want to really speak about it, I'm like, let's give it some time. But it's been easy. Like you said, it actually comes naturally to me. So I don't have to specifically ponder too much about anything on like, should I share this or not? You know, I I try to avoid certain things and don't speak about it as much. But some things are just, I mean, I
Yeah.
feel the audience, they love me for who Larissa is. They've known me. They've actually grown up with me. And
Yeah.
I have, my followers are like such loyalists, like they're there since like 13 years.
Wow.
Since my first video. They know me since then.
Yeah.
So, and they know every detail, it's crazy. They'll tell me about, I remember this video when you wore this top and when you did this and when you had braces. And I'm like, that is some next level like memory.
Yeah. Or like just
impact.
connection.
Yeah, or a connection.
Yeah.
And I feel it's fine. I feel I've just always trusted my gut about pouring my private life out.
Yeah.
I don't do it as much right now.
Yeah.
Because
How come
I-
the switch?
I felt some things I don't want to talk about. I've done it and now I don't want to.
Yeah.
So that thrill of sharing your who's my boyfriend, I don't have one right now. That's another thing. But I feel it's all right. I mean, if I want to, I will. If I don't want to, I might not. It all depends.
It's like
Yeah, I mean, there's no
extremely
like
fluid.
hard stop. Like I will not.
Yeah. I think it's best to be that way.
Yeah.
It's like very fluid.
Yeah, what if like my husband is like a spy and I can't talk about, then I'll never tell anybody I'm married. People will never know if I'm married or not. I've kept it like that. I'm like, okay, you've seen the Larissa who's spilled everything. Now you'll see a very different side of Larissa. And I think that is also what I talk about. Like, change is the only constant.
Yeah.
I will keep changing.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, I was someone else and now I'm somebody else. Why not be like that?
Yeah. When you travel,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gotten this 100 times,
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Hmm.
Most people are wondering, how does she afford it, right? Because you're leading people's dream holidays, obviously by virtue of your work. How does it work, and what is the realistic underlying breakdown of being a travel content creator?
Very honestly, I do not come from a rich family. I've come from a middle class family. So my first trip that I took abroad was with those group trips.
Yeah.
I did one with Kesari Travels
Yeah.
with my parents. So me and my brother were like, where is this? These people are so annoying on the trip, in that bus.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no shade to anyone or anything, but I feel it's not our style,
Yeah.
Would you go? No. Exactly. Like, I feel I would want to like travel differently, but it was a good start. Like, I went to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and we went abroad. We saw like a different world altogether. That did not ever make me feel like traveling again, for your information.
You're like, bas, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I did not like it at all. But I feel it's all our trips were to Mangalore, our native place. So it was the same thing again and again. And then we did some few things here and there, like Mysore, Ooty, everything in the south. And my first trip that I took for work was a sponsored trip, but there was a portfolio of me sharing my family holidays on YouTube. It was the most raw thing ever. I'm in my ancestral house, in the cow shed, feeding the cows, going into the river, climbing the tree and stuff like that. People liked that. And people still do. And they like that for me. They like me for that, sorry.
Yeah.
So, I feel I did whatever I could with the resources I had.
Yeah.
So that is one thing people don't understand. They need to know that even if you want to be a travel creator, you do it in the best way possible with the resources you have. You have the money, good, travel and do it. If you don't, go to Lonavala at least and do something in the best way possible.
Yeah.
You can do a domestic trip.
Yeah.
You can do as much as possible. I feel just use your resources in the best way possible and you can do wonders. I did that, it worked for me. You need to have a portfolio of what you've done so far for brands to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And brands do get in touch with me for that reason. They see that, okay, she can do this, she's done this in the past, let's call her now. That is how a lot of my trips are sponsored, and these places that I go to are very expensive, very honestly.
Yeah.
And even today, to afford those trips, I would feel a pinch in my pockets,
Of course.
So I'm grateful that I get to do that now because of the work I've done in the past.
And also the work you put in while there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I make sure, even if it's creators, for that matter, because a lot of creators want to be like big and we want to be travel creators. And I feel people forget that whenever you get an opportunity, do more.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get in touch with me and they ask me for advice on like, oh, I'm doing this trip, but they're not paying me. So what? You're getting to do it. It's an opportunity God is placing in your lap. Take it and do as much as you can with it. And that is where people miss the point. I mean, if you're getting an opportunity, grab it and do as much as possible with it. I did that.
Yeah.
And that is when you get what you want in terms of especially like traveling wherever. So even today, if a brand gets in touch with me and says, we want you to make this video, if a travel company or a tourism board gets in touch with me, says, Larissa, we want you to travel to this place. We're not paying you, but you have to, okay, fine. But let me do as much as possible from my side. I'll give in my 100% and I will do more than I'm asked for. If they'll, how it works, they'll ask you to make 3 reels, but I'm crazy, I'll make 9.
Yeah.
It's how it works for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do more because, and also, but it's not just because I want to like kiss ass, I'm sorry, but you know what I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it's because I'll also work with the clients that I believe in.
Yeah.
You know, I'll not work with just anyone. I'm very picky that way when I'm working with clients, and I know that this client has that thing, you know. So I work with the right people, and I know that I need to give this client more than what they've asked for because they deserve it. You know, some homegrown brands or some brands I really enjoy, some brands I use, and I think it works that way. I feel that is when it just falls. I mean, there's no direct way on how can you afford this trip. No,
Yeah.
you have to do a lot of multiple things for it to be affordable. Now I can afford trips because I have these things running for me on the
Yeah.
side also, you
Of
know.
course. Yeah. It's a mixed bag.
Exactly.
It's not a linear conversation. that
Exactly.
You do this and you
Nothing
get.
is linear.
Correct.
There is no linear response to anything, is what I feel. And I think that's when you realize that is when you'll move forward in being like traveling wherever you want, understanding that, keep your mind open to understanding how things can work for you.
Correct. So, work can really consume you, and most people associate unwinding with travel, as do I.
Right.
And with my HSBC Travel One credit card, I get 4 extra rewards on every vacation. Is it the same for you? Do you reconnect while traveling, or are you working while traveling?
Oh my God. Don't get me started about this because everybody talks about how they want to take a vacation and travel. And I'm like, how do I take a vacation? Because I cannot travel and not document.
It's never happened.
I tried. It's
Okay.
rubbish. I feel bad. I feel weird. I feel very disconnected with myself. People think I cannot leave the camera, or I have to use the phone, or oh come on, you can leave your camera home sometimes and just travel to. But my creative outlet is documentation, and it's hard for people to understand because they don't know how I look at travel, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it's a documentation of those experiences which I come back home and I relive. Actually makes me a different person after every trip.
Yeah.
So travel for me is always about documenting everything I've felt. So even if you ask me to not take the camera, I will be writing something down or sketching something. I need a creative outlet because I'm seeing so much as a creative person. I'm seeing so much, I'm observing so much, I'm absorbing so many things.
Yeah.
Cultures, people, different languages, food. How do I it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy with that information, you know, that I'm facing. So I want to, there needs an outlet. I need to do an outlet, you know, somehow. So I need to document it, or I need to sketch, I need to paint, I need to write, I need to do something creative while I'm traveling.
So that's how you reconnect with yourself.
Yes. I feel so aligned while I'm creative. While
And
I'm
that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? For some people, it's just traveling or like doing nothing.
still
Still,
meditating.
but I can't.
I
like
can't.
even I can't. Like when I'm on a holiday, you know, I like to be like, okay, let me immerse in culture. Let me eat something that I haven't eaten before. Let me speak to somebody I haven't spoken to before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You learn.
But I'm not documenting it.
Huh?
I can't document it. I'm like too awkward, you know. I'm like
Yeah, but it's nice. Like, I mean, I like your style also. It's different.
it's very understated. It's like whatever is easiest, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice. You come back, you learn so many things. You know, it's nice. I'm just this very
Yeah. And each to
over
his own.
enthusiastic person. Once I'm like, oh shit, wow, you know, what's that? You know, I'm like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a nice, you know, such a nice cluster of buildings. Let me sit here for a while and paint this. If I see something and I want it to be like etched in my head forever, I want to sit there and I want to paint it. Because while you're painting, what happens is you're looking at every corner of that building, of that plant, of those people 1,000 times. You're just observing so much. So I feel that's when you observe the place in the best way. And I have a photographic like memory. So I know there's this one area where I sat in when I was in Porto. Sat there for 3 hours.
I love Porto. It's one of my favorite cities in the world.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It's so wholesome.
I felt so alive there. I remember being like, it's so beautiful. It feels like you're in a painting. There was that little bridge and
Yeah.
the houses that were part of the UNESCO I think, heritage something.
Exactly. I sat there in like one very random.
And the food was amazing.
Oh gosh, the Francesinha is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, oysters. I went there, like I had oysters for breakfast. It was amazing. And I was like, it was a solo trip. So I feel like sketching, like I like that. It puts me like, it aligns me. I feel so content. I feel like I've eaten good food, you know, when I do creative things. Like it's my outlet. So I need to do, that's my definition of being still and being present.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to ask you some travel questions that I think people must be wondering. Or I'm sure you've answered them also.
Yeah.
Looking at your Instagram, it's very evident that you're always on the go. I'm very curious, how do you plan your travel, your itinerary? Is it pre-planned? Do you plan on the go? All my last minute bookings are made through my HSBC Travel One credit card. I literally end up saving like 15% on all my travel bookings. So what's your hack? How do you do it?
I'm the worst person to ask such a question. I am not your how to save your money and travel to this place.
No.
I'm the worst. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm the worst in like budget traveling. I'm always like way above budget. And I mean, I am that traveler who has no, I mean, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Last minute bookings, overpriced tickets, not booking things in advance. So being like, oh shit, what's happening? But that, I think it comes with its own perks of giving you those stories when mishaps happen.
Yeah.
So it's the best. I mean,
I
like those adventures while traveling. So I'm sorry. I mean, I cannot.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about, the most fascinating place that you've been to, or like an experience or an encounter that you've had that has stayed with you. They say crazy travel stories.
Oh.
I'm sure you'll have many of those.
I have too many. I mean, I can't come up with one, If you'd tell me if you'd want to know about a funny story or something that was very transformative.
Both.
Okay.
Let's do both. We're on a podcast.
Okay. I'll give you a funny story first. I think it has to be when I went to Vietnam. I think there's a reel also on my channel and I've spoken about it so many times. It was this encounter with this old lady and I was with my videographer who's also like a friend and family now, He was with me on the scooter and we were looking for Hang Mua Cave in Vietnam, in Ninh Binh. And we're looking for this cave and we lost our way. We reached some dead end. It was a house and then this old lady, like really little lady, she comes up to us and she starts talking to us in Vietnamese. And we don't understand anything. And she's saying like, oh, you're here. And she's laughing. She's very like expressive and animated. And I'm like, what do we do? And I kind of also got scared. I thought, oh, is she kidnapping us? What if, you never know what happens. So she starts speaking to me in Vietnamese and I start speaking to her in Konkani, my mother tongue.
Yeah.
It's not even English or anything. And somehow we're speaking with each other and we're talking with each other and we're understanding each other, even though we're speaking in different languages. And she's explaining things to me in Vietnamese and she is doing all of this. And, she's saying there are 500 steps. And I'm like, okay. She's like, first you go right and then you go left. And she said something and I understood. And then I told her that I understood like what you said. And that was so hilarious. We went with her directions and we reached.
Wow.
It was the best. I mean, I want to go back to Vietnam just to see her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see her again. Like, she was amazing. Like when you look at the video, I'll show you the video afterwards. It was hilarious. So cute she was.
Yeah.
But I want to meet her again. That was a funny one. But apart from that, I think for a very transformative story, my whole understanding of spirituality and being connected with myself and how my perspective of travel, my whole travel principle changed was when I went to Banaras in 2020. And this was right before COVID. So this was on the 18th of Jan 2020. I went to Banaras, and I went there. I'd heard that it's not your best looking place, and it's an experience. That's all I heard. I said, okay, I'm going to go there with an open mind, not going to expect it to be like aesthetic or like Instagrammable or anything, but you've got to go there and experience it with an open mind, with an open heart.
You went alone?
No, I went there with like 2-3 friends.
Yeah.
And they're also like, some of them are photographers, videographers. So everybody was like open to experimenting and like learning and just be. It was cold. It was nice. It was beautiful. I mean, what I experienced there, I had not seen anything like that ever in my life. I had not experienced any of that. People are, there's a ghat. Have you been to Banaras?
No.
There's a ghat in Banaras, which is called Manikarnika Ghat. And they're burning bodies there, like since forever. Since I don't know what date, but there's never been like one moment ever on that ghat that they've not lit something. So there's like a burning diya or something of that sort, and every like hour there is a body burning there, and everybody's so like nonchalantly like just there, burning bodies, and you see like dead bodies right in front of you, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And there are families crying, and there are people who are like doing their job, and you're there like, what is this?
Yeah.
That's
it
when-
seems like out of this world.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? And that's when I spoke to a man there who said, life and death, like for us, like that, this is death. After a point, you're gonna die, and that's it, your ashes. And I'm like, okay, we know, but when you see it happen in front of you,
Yeah.
that's when I realized like life and death, like how they coexist, and how it can death can mean nothing,
Yeah. It's normalized.
Yes. And once you accept that is when you kind of become like invincible,
Yeah.
And it really put a lot of thought. And when I sat down, that's when I also realized that travel and creating and documenting actually puts back so much. Once I come back from my trip, I sat down with the footage and I looked at all of it, and I said, wow, this needs to be out there in a very different manner. And that video actually changed my life in a lot of ways. People saw it in a very different manner. They're like, wow, we've never seen a video like this, And it was a story about how I experienced Banaras and how people can see Banaras. So, and this is in 2020, COVID just hit everyone. So I think that also impacted like
Yeah.
when people saw it in that
And there was a
manner.
lot of death and grieving during
Exactly.
COVID. Yeah.
And it really put that video and travel in a very different perspective, like for me and also for people. And then it just like onwards and like upwards from there.
Wow.
I realized like, oh my God, like travel is something else. It actually transforms you. And now every time I travel somewhere, I am a changed person when I come back. My friends know it, my parents know it. It's beautiful. So
Changed person how?
like you learn. You learn so many
learn,
things.
yeah.
You talk to so many people. You're talking to like multiple people. It's sometimes there's different languages, different cultures, different food. I love food. I'm a foodie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And then like you've tasted so many new things. You've experienced so many new languages. You've seen so many new cultures. Oh, what is this? You're using this for something else. People are praying differently. People are saying things differently. They're doing things differently. It's just your world is again open
It's just
to
open
like
up. Yeah.
yeah,
There's
like
so many different perspectives.
like you know this much, and then you travel and you know more.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, this also exists. So I feel that expanding your knowledge about the world automatically expands this world. And when you're traveling, this is what I like to say, like when you're traveling, travel outwards but also inwards. It will really change the way you look at travel.
Yeah.
And I feel it's the more it makes you be more understanding, more open to experiences, more open to kinds of people, so you don't get offended with
Yeah.
anybody anymore. I don't take anything personally, like if tomorrow somebody says something to me, I'm like, okay, this person has something to deal with and cannot deal with it better. So it's
manifesting this way.
yeah. Everyone has their own karma. I have my own karma. And it's just all of that, like,
Playing out together.
exactly. And I feel travel can really, there's no better teacher than travel. Nobody can teach you what travel teaches you. I feel if you're well traveled, you can just do anything you want. Yeah, it just, but you need to just also open your mind
Yeah.
for that. You can't just be like, hey, I went everywhere and what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's, you've got to be like open to understanding languages, cultures, people, how everyone is so different. That itself will change you.
You know, earlier when you were talking about travel being life changing, really changing and shifting your perspective, if you have the openness to it, a lot of people glorify solo travel in this, right? Saying that I'll go solo travel, and because people speak about it like that. I've solo traveled, so I have done that, and I know that you do that very, very often. But what's the real
Not very
truth?
often.
But you not often enough, but you've experienced it. And what is the real truth in terms of pros and cons of solo travel for those who may want to experience it?
It really puts you in a situation where, you know, you're alone
Yeah.
and you have to be the sole decision maker for that situation, for that place, for that moment. Where do I eat? Okay, there's nobody else to discuss with me. Where do I live? Where do I stay for the night? Nobody else to discuss with me. Where do I walk? How do I walk? Is this the right way to this place I'm going to? Like, you're on your own. And I feel people are so afraid of being alone. They need to solo travel once in their life to see how they will do.
How you'll be with just yourself.
Yeah, I feel like being with yourself is so important. And enjoying that alone time is very important. And I think solo travel will tell you that. It will really put things in perspective. You'll know if it's something that it will change everybody's life. That is for sure.
Yeah.
You'll either hate it or you'll love it. And I mean, it's okay to hate it also. I mean, it's not your thing then.
It's not just not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, but I like solo travel, but for a few days.
How long?
4 days.
Okay. 4 days is good.
4 days, 5 days is good. It's good for me to reflect on my journey. Good. After that, I need to be with some friends. Not friends, but one person is enough.
Yeah.
I'm okay with like traveling with one person who I can bounce off ideas with.
Yeah.
Someone on the same wavelength as me, though.
Yeah.
Not someone who's like, hey, let's go party. No, I don't want to party. You know, I can, but maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Someone who's open, you know, someone who matches my wavelength, who is like, it could, like, for now, I mean, I have my videographer for that matter, Piyush. He's traveled with me to so many places, and we love traveling with each other.
Yeah.
Like, he is like family to me now. And he is also very spiritual, very like open-minded, very understanding, very talented because he's my videographer. I mean, he's great. Like, I learned so many things from him about travel, about people. He is so empathetic. And like, he teaches me a lot of things when we are traveling. You know, I've learned this really important thing from him on how to be grateful before every meal. So before every meal, he joins his hands and he prays before he eats his food. And I've learned that from him.
How many countries have you traveled to? Let's say?
23.
Okay. And
Well, I mean, I've been to many countries multiple times.
so are you one of those who's like, I have this big world map and I'm going to strike off every country on my list?
Not at all. I feel I only travel to a place when it calls me. As woo-woo as it may sound, sometimes there's no budget, you know, so
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. No, but very honestly, I like certain places and I want to go there again. Like Portugal, I will go again.
Yeah.
Just because I've done it, it gives me that like feeling of a very exciting spirit. That place, that country has a very beautiful spirit. It's very like, it's very wholesome.
That place is Maldives for me, where I'm like, I want to go there every year
Yeah.
for
I would
all
love
the
to go.
years that
Exactly.
that I live, because it's just so beautiful. I'm a complete water baby, and I think I feel I felt the most aligned, or the most like in tune with nature and abundance over
Right.
there. So that's one place that I want to go back every single year. And I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but like, let's put it out there.
Oh, Maldives is beautiful. I've been there also. Like,
Yeah.
I've been there like thrice, and I don't mind going
Going
again.
again, yeah.
It's beautiful. Blue waters. What else do you want?
What's a understated location that you think will be the next big travel destination?
I remember I said that about Varanasi
Hmm.
when I went to Banaras in 2020, and I said, "Ki, I am 100% sure." But there was like a boost in like traveling to Banaras. Many people started going to Banaras. Now it's like a very normal place to go to. But when I remember when we had gone, it was very random. Like, why are you going to Banaras? You go to Banaras? Like, usually you go there for like rituals and spiritual
journey.
things, and not to just experience it as a traveler.
Correct.
People did, but it was quite a few of them who did that. Right now, I'm not. I felt that about Bali as well.
Okay.
Now it's exploded, but I'm not very, very sure about what other place that could be. But I feel Portugal can be. I feel it. Not many people
Have gone.
and they don't think of it as like, okay, let's go to Portugal. Everybody wants to go to Italy, and they want Greece and Barcelona, but not many people talk about Portugal yet, is what I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know, I might be wrong, but I feel, yeah, that is one
Portugal
place.
was beautiful. Have you ever landed in a location and everything has gone completely wrong? And you're like, oh my God, what am I doing here, and how am I going to get out of
That
this?
was Vietnam for me.
Really?
It was Vietnam for me.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, everything just went so wrong in that place. I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
I would not want to go back to Vietnam.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know a lot of people loved it,
Yeah.
and a lot of people have been there. I had this amazing encounter with this lady, but that is the only reason I would want to go back. But otherwise, I do not think I want to go again. It's just my personal opinion, but I know it's a beautiful place. And I went there with Piyush, and we did not plan anything. As usual, we never plan our trips in advance. We did some places, and then everything went wrong on that trip. Everything was wrong. But I also feel I was the most vulnerable at that time with myself. And that could also be the reason everything went wrong.
Why were you the most vulnerable?
I can't remember, but I was not in the best phase of life when I did that trip. It was 2022 and August. Yeah, it was July end. I did this trip, and it was just a trip. We said, let's do this, and I said, okay, I'm gonna. I went. Yeah, I remember. It was. I thought, okay, let's look at this trip as a content trip. We will make this videos like this, because see, it's been 13 years for me in this industry. You need to like. I'm always like churning content in the most. I mean, I have the lot. Like I have. There's a lot of variety of context for my content, but I wanted to change something with my travel format. So I said, how about I actually don't go with the flow this time, and I make it a trip only for content. I did that, and I made the biggest mistake of my life, because everything was so bad, because everything we planned did not happen. And we did not get that kind of content. And there was this one night I cried so hard. And Piyush was there, and he was like, oh gosh, why is everything going wrong? And we were just waiting to leave. So I think I should just travel as I do.
As you always
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson learned. So good. That's the reason I don't like it.
So during your low phases or vulnerable phases, like you
Yeah.
were saying, what do you turn to realign yourself?
While I'm traveling, or
Generally also.
I just, I think I'm very self aware that way. So I know it's a phase. I always know that it's either a phase or it's my period, to be very honest.
Yeah.
So I'm always very particular that I tell myself that this too shall pass. And if you're low right now, understand why you're low, look for a solution and move on. Nothing lasts forever. Change is the only constant. And I think my self-talk with myself is what helps me. It's always been like that. I feel that way I've been very Atmanirbhar, very independent with handling my emotions, my life, and that has helped me to get out of a situation like this or a mood like that. But apart from that, I listen to some podcasts.
Really?
Yes.
Which podcast do you listen?
So there is this guy called Aaron Doughty,
Okay.
and I love his podcast. It's very he doesn't script anything. He just is very raw, and he just talks to the camera like that. It feels like he's talking to you.
Yeah.
And I listen to that. He's a very spiritual guy, so he's always talking about. I'm never looking at like proper solutions, like okay, do this, read a book, and you will be fine. I'm always looking for a very spiritual answer. I'm trying to understand what is wrong inside my head that I need to fix that will make me feel better.
Context.
Yes, I need to understand why is this happening.
Yeah.
I need to understand the depth of that problem, and he helps me with that.
Okay.
And it's like he's speaking right to me, like right to my heart, directly. And I don't know what it is about him. It's great what he does. And that is one thing. I also listen to this song by Shah Rukh. It's
Okay.
he did not sing it, but you know the song "I'm the Best"
Yeah.
from Fir Bhi Dil Hai
Yeah,
Hindustani.
how cute. Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I start my day with that.
Really?
Yes. And you listen to it tomorrow
Yeah.
when you wake up.
Okay.
It actually gives you such confidence. I have a playlist on Spotify and it's called Bollywood Affirmations. It's only Bollywood songs because we love Bollywood,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's majority of the songs are by Shah Rukh.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, like there's all types of songs. There's Pataka Guddi.
Yeah.
And then there is Love You Zindagi.
Yeah.
If I need a very calmer, like a affirmative song.
Yeah.
But I'm the best is like in your face, I'm the best. And you need to wake up like that. You need that confidence.
Yeah.
So at any point I feel I'm losing out on something and I'm not feeling my best, I feel low, I have some sort of self-doubt. Mostly it's self-doubt. I just listen to that song and I'm like, I actually am the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm like, thank you so much, like God, universe, and like you need to remind yourself you're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. We are the best in what we do, and you give in your best every single day, and you just need to be reminded that you're the best.
Okay.
And that song is like my ultimate. That, and there is one gospel song, gospel hymn, like gospel music
Yeah.
also I listen to, which is about how like Jesus is always walking with you, because I practice Christianity.
Right.
So I listen to that, and that's when I'm like very
Yeah.
like
That's
dejected.
emergency.
Yeah, that's like I'm like, oh God, listen, I need this right now. And then I listen to that and I'm like out of it. Or I just pray. I pray a lot
Yeah.
throughout the day. Like I'm praying at every moment, like gratitude, prayer of gratitude, like thank you God. And with every step, when we sat here and this conversation with you, I was like, thank you God for giving me this. There's always gratitude happening at the back of my head. So,
That's such a good way of looking at it.
yeah, so I feel these are things that actually put me in my place.
Let's talk about manifestation
Oh,
and visualization. I know that I saw a little bit of visualization when I was looking at your vlog. Your 4 a.m. vlog has really made an impact on me clearly.
wow.
So because it was that time. So I saw yours and I saw Radhi. She also catalogued her 5 a.m. routine.
Okay.
And look, it was mainly from the perspective that I would not be able to document my journey. So I was like, how would somebody do it? I'm so
Yeah.
interested to look at how it would go.
Right.
And then I was very fascinated that, okay, this is how it happens. But I know that you mentioned a little bit about visualization in that. But what is your take on manifestation? Do you do it? How do you do it?
My life is like example of manifestation is all I can say. I remember I used to be a very rebellious kid at home, and my parents always kept saying that how are you going to secure a job if you're going to be like this, like how are you going to be a good employee with your attitude? I was just rebellious. I wasn't a bad kid, I was a great kid, in fact. But my parents kept asking me, like, with this attitude, like how are you going to be a good employee? How are you? I said, I'm going to be my own boss. I don't need to be an employee. That's what I said. I think those things, like I think I was always gifted. I was gifted, like I was not born, like I didn't inculcate like these things onto me like later on in life, but I was gifted uh, to be a very like strong-headed person, to know that if I want this, I will have it no matter how. And I would sketch it, I would draw it, I would write things in places. I have journals where I've stuck things, like painted things, and those have come alive. I just say that this is going to happen. I don't know how. I have this thing about my brand, about my life, this career, like this trajectory. I looked at all of it through, like, I feel I am a visionary, like I look at it as you've got to be a visionary to manifest something. Like you need to know that you need to look way ahead
That this
in the
is
future,
possible.
that this can be possible, and the potential of what this can be. And if you have, and I think it only comes also from confidence. So I feel when you have that confidence, you become a visionary, and then you can manifest easier.
Okay. So, what would your manifestation techniques be for our viewers, because they love it? And our manifestation episodes actually have run 2 hours, 3 hours, because we sat with like metaphysics experts. We sat with
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
like, so
yeah.
who actually do it on a scientific level, which is
Wow.
what interests me, because I think the word manifestation and visualization has been so overused and overabused, and people have a negative context. And then I'm only like, because I practice it, and I practice it in a very, like a aggressive way. So, but I don't like, I feel like it's totally out of context now. So that's why I bring science into the picture. So
Right.
let's talk about it on a scientific level.
Okay.
Forget that. What has worked for you? Because clearly, like, right, like you're saying, right, like certain things in your life are just there, whether it's the brand, whether it's whether it's manifesting a holiday. For a lot of people on their vision board, they put some of the spots that you go to and you're taken to
Yeah.
by sponsors. It's like a dream life. So how is it that you practice manifestation?
I'm actually very inspired that you practice it very aggressively. I want to do that because I don't. It's just happening on the side. Like I'm just thinking, I think a lot during the day. And, I have this alone time with myself every day, where I'm just thinking of how this is going to be this. So my manifestation usually is in my head. Everything is in my head, and I'm always like, oh, but like there is this side of me which is very like overconfident, like very supremely confident, saying like this is what is going to happen with your life, and you are going to be this person. So stop worrying about it. And that's it. I mean, that's all I do. I sometimes write things down, I document things.
Yeah.
Like I say things like, I'm going to come back to this video and I know this is going to happen later on. So everything, most of the things that are manifesting for me, I have it documented. Like I remember I spoke about the Nat Geo gig that I got.
Yeah.
So I did like 4 episodes with them, which is a very big deal for any travel creator.
Of course.
So, it's like a dream. I mean, it's National Geography,
Yeah.
So I had 7 years ago or something more, not 7 years ago, 12 years ago or something like that, 14 years ago, there was this contest that a brand was doing on Twitter or on Instagram when Instagram had just taken off. And they had the 7 days of something, and you have to post every day about your skin or something like that. So I made a post. I participated in it because I wanted to win it, And I was 19. And I made a stop motion video of me writing, I am going to travel the world, and, making a drawing around it. And then I remember I didn't even know why I wanted to travel the world. It wasn't like, oh, I want to see the world. No. It's just because I once heard someone say that, oh, you're the richest when you travel the world. You know, you experience so many cool things and so many good things that it's the best thing anyone can experience, like traveling the world. And I said, okay, I want to do that because it's the best thing in the world, you know, to travel everywhere. So I said, okay, I want to travel the world. So I put that down, and then I was like, the other day I went back to Facebook to see it or Instagram to see it. I was like, wow, like this is something I didn't even know. And I'm sure like 10 years from now, I will come back to this day and I'll see certain things happening, or our conversation for that matter. And I feel for me, manifestation has just been that. I feel just visualizing, you know, they go hand in hand anyways, you know, like visualizing a life that this is going to happen. I have had Pinterest boards, Instagram saved collections, you know, those are there. Like, when I get married, it'll be like this. My family will look like this. Or I'm going to travel to these. Traveling has happened. I've put pictures of the places I want to go to. I've been there already. So, you know, putting things on my walls, pictures of all of that. It's just, I feel like in my head, it's all there.
Happened.
Yeah, it's already happened. But I want to try. I want to try your method. I'll ask you later.
Yeah, 100%. I do it very religiously, and I think that it helps me really focus and like center on what the larger outcome is. So the ups and downs of what happens on a day to day really doesn't faze me. That it just, I don't know, it could also be a coping mechanism. I have no idea, but like it helps me, you know, because you see the larger picture, and
of course, yeah,
that's what's driving me, and that's
exactly the larger picture.
Yeah,
when you look at that, like all of these,
it's like it's fine. It's a speed bump, you know. It's okay. Yeah. Okay,
that's a nice way to look at it.
Yeah, and now we have HSBC's Pack Your Perks segment. We want to talk about all of the great investments to make from travel to wellness, and all of these questions are curated from within our team.
Okay.
So
tough questions.
Just cute questions. One travel investment you made that you're proud of?
First thing I can think of right now, there are quite a few, but my 5-year UK visa.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of getting that visa.
Yeah,
oh my God.
100%.
5 years.
Yeah. One splurge-worthy experience you think everyone should try at least once?
Skydiving.
Yeah.
What you experience there is something you can't experience anywhere else.
Your favorite way of treating yourself?
Good food and a good massage. A good massage.
Yeah. If you get a chance to book a free one-way ticket today, which location would you choose and why?
That's always a tough one. Which is your best country? Which is your favorite one?
Yeah.
I think Mexico, I really want to go there.
Even I've never. Mexico looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to travel affordably, but beyond budget airlines and hostels, what's an underrated travel hack that actually saves money? I know you said none, but is there anything?
Travel hack that actually saves money. Becoming a travel creator so you get sponsored trips.
Yeah, that would be a good way.
That is the best travel hack I have. I have done that. So but apart from that, I don't think I'm the worst.
You're the worst person to ask this question.
Yeah, I'm like, where you're with HSBC, so
no, not really.
That's not a problem, right?
It's not a problem.
Okay, thank God. They'll be like, cut everything she's saying.
No.
Okay.
So let's talk about now, how is it that you are envisioning life with your brand, with your next phase, right? Because you're so good at pivoting and making these choices to move to the next chapter.
Yeah.
What is it looking like for you?
I think I'm excited. Like, I'm a person who's always excited for change. It is challenging, but I'm really looking forward. I have some major changes coming up. Like, I know what's going to happen. And like, I'm definitely, like, I've taken up these challenges. It's the brand, my jewelry brand will relaunch again.
This year?
This year, yeah, obviously this
Okay,
year.
in
It was supposed to
2025.
launch last year,
Okay.
relaunch
Yeah.
last year, but it's taken some time. It takes time. Good things take time.
Yeah.
And I am a perfectionist that way when it comes to these things. So I want it to be in place before we put it out to the public. And it's going to be incredible. Like, I
Yeah.
cannot wait
Yeah.
for you also to have some things.
It sounds incredible.
It's,
already.
it's the core is travel. So, I think I take all my learnings from my travels and put it in a brand, pour it into it, and the people can experience it in their own hands, on themselves. So I think that is a very new thing that I'm going to experience.
So many creators sometimes when they start products or they start brands or they start businesses, they still get stereotyped as you're a creator and this is not your flywheel. Have you faced that inertia or that resistance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about it though, because I've been a businesswoman since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I've traded chewing gum, tattoos for money while I was in school.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been like that.
Yeah.
Like, how can I make some bucks out of this? I've always been that person. I've started like young with like a business mindset. I didn't know how, but I knew I would. And I know I want to. So that has never been a challenge for me of thinking I'm a creator. And I mean, people will always think.
Yeah.
But what you do and how you do it is what matters. And like I said, I'm so confident with what I do and with what I put out, because I feel I don't do it as a performance. I do it as someone who I am.
Yeah. Like you
And-
don't want to just do it for the sake of doing it or to
Yeah.
move out or to break the mold.
Exactly. Like, I want to do it because I have great ideas. Like, I am a jewelry lover.
Yeah.
And I am all about changing narratives. So it's gold and it's beautiful. It's like pieces you've never seen before. And I'm just excited. I feel when excitement takes over your nervousness is when you know that you're doing the right thing. And like, my gut feeling has been like, okay, you're almost there. So, I know that it's going to be good. And we were running it for a year, and the response has been great, even then, when we did not market it one bit. So I cannot even I cannot wait for it to come back with a bang and, for people to see it. And obviously I'm nervous a little bit, but I think sometimes our brain just confuses the excitement for anxiety.
Yeah.
And that is when you need to know, like, hey, you're not anxious, you're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just switch that way. There's a switch in your brain. And I think that can help you to feel more excited about what you're going to do next. So I'm not really nervous about that. I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Like,
We manifested.
yes, your
On this
aggressive
podcast,
manifestation techniques, I need those.
On this podcast.
Yeah.
It's been so lovely. We'll end with a question that I ask a lot of my guests, which is, if you were to give advice to somebody who's starting out or making a pivot in their career or doing something different or is just a rebellious kid, what would you say to them?
Keep being rebellious. It really helps. I mean, I think the thing of being rebellious, and that attitude comes when you know that
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to do. One thing that I've always been I've known is, when change comes into people's lives, that's when they are paranoid. And that's when they panic. And that's when they take a step back and like, okay, I cannot let this happen. But change is the only constant. You've heard this everywhere, but it is actually good. Change is supposed to be there for you to move forward. And when you are a person who is in tune with yourself is when you can be confident. So everything is interrelated, and I feel do not be afraid with taking a leap, because fear is just a very weird emotion that our brain generates, and it's not true. It's not something that exists. Fear is something that just your brain creates to like protect you, but it's actually, I mean, the moment you start seeing it as excitement and something you should do, like, is when you know like you've attained that
That power.
power of like changing.
Yeah. And flipping it and turning the narrative.
Yeah, change the narrative always. Like, never be afraid to change the rules. Like, nobody's like written the rules, you know.
Yeah.
You have to change the narrative, and you have to keep pushing yourself to your potential, like knowing that you can do better.
Yeah.
And when you know you can do, like, are you giving in your 100% today?
Yeah.
If you're not, then you know you can get better. I think we're always very scared of our own potential.
Correct.
And that's when you stop and you take a step back. I am also.
That little voice that says,
Hey,
Yeah,
most of the
it's a-
times
it's a little
people actually know they can do better.
yeah,
And they're worried, okay, what will come next
Yeah.
when I do better?
yeah.
That's the scary part.
Leveling up always feels like a oh my god, you know. what's
People
going
know they
on?
can do it.
Yeah,
People know they can wake up at 5 a.m.
yeah.
But why do they not want
Because
that
there's
change?
inertia. There's inertia. Like
Change.
I, for example, like when that little voice comes on, I'm like, shh. Like I say it loud.
Right.
Shh. Just I know you're trying, but it's not happening. Not today.
Yeah.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know when
I have not
you're not
watched.
watched Game of Thrones.
No.
Okay, so there's a scene with Arya Stark and,
Okay.
and this red woman, and she says, "What do you say to the god of death?"
Right.
She says, "Not today."
Oh,
Yeah. So I said, "Not today.
that's nice.
Try again tomorrow."
I'm going to take back so many things from you today. In fact, I would love to have a conversation with you later on.
100%, and
Yeah.
we're gonna manifest the beep out of this this thing for your brand.
Yes, please. Yes, that'll be great.
Thank you so much, Larissa. See, I got a name. I learned from
Larissa.
because Larissa comes so naturally, and I'm like, no, train your brain. It's Larissa.
I know.
Yeah, but thank you so much. It's been such a lovely conversation. It was so real and so honest, and I know you're gonna smash it. So good luck in advance, and we'll build on it together.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here and to be a part of this conversation. I'm going to take back so many things that you've also mentioned.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, you know, conversations with people like you that actually put your mind to like thinking a little more,
Yeah.
like pushing yourself a little more.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank you. As always, I hope Realign added value to your life, and if it did, please like, share, and subscribe. Every time you do that, it helps our channel grow.